everyone, welcome to Fatema's art show. This is the part 2 of my art story, and if you want to catch up and you haven't watched part 1, do click on part 1. I'll also put the link in the description box so you can watch part 1 if you want to know how my art story was from primary school to high school. So this is how I left you off. I think I left you off with talking about high school and what went on in high school and what made me kind of continue my passion and love for art. And then the one thing I did not mention in high school is that I had a great art teacher that always encouraged me to continue my art passion, my art enthusiasm, everything I had to college, because at that point I was like, shall I go into a course? It sounds crazy because the one thing I loved in high school was art. I was still thinking, you know, because all my other sisters did like business. I've mentioned this in one of my episodes before as well. All my other sisters, they did business and they did other courses, and I was kind of the first one to actually want to do an art course. So I wasn't sure. Like my teacher said to me, look, just go for it, go ask your parents, I'm sure they'll be okay with it. So I asked them and they were completely fine. They thought art was an amazing you know, an amazing course to do. They really loved it. They loved creativity just like I did, and so they said, you know, go for it. If that's the course you want to do in college, go for it. What had happened is that in high school I didn't get the best grades in all the other subjects. I did okay, but I didn't get enough to go straight into A-levels. So when I started college, I had to do like an intermediate GNVQ so that I can, you know, so I can do my art A-levels. So I was fine with that. I was, you know, I was fine with doing a 1-year course to get into A-levels, and it was lovely. I really loved it. And I can say that the first thing I remember thinking was that finally I don't have to do all the other subjects like I did in high school that I didn't really like, I didn't really enjoy, and I just kind of had to do it because I had to do it. I had to go to the classes and I had to do all the other subjects. But college was like a refreshing thing for me. It was just like finally, you know, I can do the course that I want to do, and it was lovely. So then did really well in the intermediate course, got a distinction, which is the highest. It was distinction, merit or pass. If you get a pass, you just pass, then merit, then distinction. And then afterwards I went on to do my A-levels. Now because I wanted to do art and design and not fine art. Fine art covers more of like sort of painting, kind of painting realistically and creating lots of art pieces in the fine art sense of things. But I kind of wanted to go into more art and design, which covers everything. Covers from ceramics, making, you know, clay pieces, to woodwork, making wooden sculptures, to what else did it cover? It covered also like a textile element to it, and so it was a beautiful combination of lots of different creative things mixed together, jam-packed in kind of one course. It was called AVCE, Art and Design, which was equivalent to A-levels, and I had to also I also had to do another A-level. The other A-level I chose to do was photography, and I remember looking at all the other A-levels and thinking, okay, photography is very interesting. And I have never done photography because in my high school we never did photography. We never had a dark room. We never did all of that. So it was really exciting to do photography. So I was just like, great, I'm gonna do photography. So I chose photography, and it was fantastic. And I'll tell you something. The first moment that I went into the dark room and I developed my first image, so I, you know, put it into the chemicals, and it was just so magical. The image from going from a blank, you know, a blank piece of paper, the image slowly emerged onto the paper, and I remember feeling so excited, like, wow, this is amazing, oh my god, I just made my first photo from the negative. I never understood the process, and if you've ever done black and white photography or have seen it anywhere in films or anything like that, it is absolutely magical, and I really loved it. I was just like, this is so exciting, and I would go home every day smelling of those chemicals and all those things. So I would go home and I'd be like, oh god, I did photography today, and mum knew that I did photography because I smelt of photography. So yeah, so when I finished those 2 courses, I got 2 A's and a B. So I got B photography and I got 2 A's. So yeah, so that was college. And also I did, oh, by the way, I did gain the other GCSEs that I wanted, so tick tick all round. And then I was like, okay, so I've got my my A-levels, and now it's time to go university. The university was Westminster University, and I remember the first time I went for the interview, actually, I had to carry this thing, this heavy folder, and I so struggled to carry it. I remember carrying it and thinking, oh god, this is so heavy, I have to keep going, I have to keep fighting through and getting this you know, get into the, so I can get into this course. And I carried 2 portfolios, one large portfolio and also a smaller sort of portfolio of lots of work I did from the college course, and it was super heavy, but I managed to get there, and I showed it all and everything, and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. What else? So university, best course of my life. I can say hands down, best course of my life. It was absolutely amazing, and freedom was next level. The amount of freedom you got to create art pieces was just, you know, immense. I was just like, wow, you know, I didn't know I had this much freedom in art, because, you know, with college and high school, it was very restrictive. You had to make a sketchbook, and they kind of tell you a lot of the times the sort of schemes of work and things you're gonna do and the subject matters. With the degree, it was sort of first year introducing everything, all the different elements of capabilities, so, you know, photography, video art, which I never explored before, all sorts of different aspects of art. And then it was year 2 and year 3 was just like, you go for it, you do it. And I remember feeling so excited to finally be able to express myself in art freely. And the first time I saw, the first time they gave me the wall, they gave me this wall, and they said to me, this is your wall, you can do whatever you want to it. And I was like, what? I have a wall? So every student in uni got a wall, and they can, it's their wall basically. They can put up ideas of what their work is about, what their practice is. They can work as an artist. And it was amazing that I finally got a space. And the amount of the other piece of the freedom that I was telling you about is that if I saw a section in the university where I wanted to create an art piece, it was just like, fine, you know, just, you know, fill in a form, contact them, say you want to put in a proposal, say you want that space, and you'll get that space, and then you can create an art piece around the university. And then yeah, so my work, I'll just talk quickly about what my work involved in university. My work in university mostly involved 2 things. The first subject matter that I covered, I remember the first subject matter that I kind of delved into was the idea of prayer. And I didn't want to say, okay, I'm a Muslim, you know, I'm talking about Muslim prayer. But I'm talking about prayer in general, the idea of prayer, you know, prayer in our minds as we kind of go through everyday life, and prayer in different religions, and what are we praying, you know, what is our thoughts of prayer. And I did several art pieces where I did for my first exhibition was a prayer mat. So I did a selection of prayer mats because I explored kind of my sense of prayer and what we do, and then it kind of evolved from there, the idea of prayer kind of again going to, it moved on to going to that special place, to that section, to that getaway, to that area in life where you can just kind of shut down that, you know, that bliss, that secret garden, whatever that was. And I created different art pieces to represent that, to represent the escape to this place where you can focus, you can pray, you can, you know, and it was kind of amazing, the idea of doing that. I even remember doing an art piece where it was kind of like you know, you kind of lie down, and then it was very cushiony and white, and then I got a shredder, and what people had to do was write their thoughts on a piece of paper and then shred their thoughts in the shredder. So they had the idea of, you know, taking your thoughts and then kind of shredding them, and it's kind of like refreshing of the mind, and going into that space, wherever that space is. So I mean, I don't want to go too much explaining every single art piece. I'm just briefly, this is my brief explanation, believe it or not. And then afterwards I moved on to all sorts of things. I explored video art, I explored all sorts of different types of art, and it was all within my practice, within my ideas. I also looked at separation between men and women, and actually I'll tell you what my dissertation was, my final end of year dissertation. My final end of year dissertation was about feminism in the 70s. So it was the two people that pioneered you know, feminist art in the 70s, which was Miriam Shapiro and Judy Chicago, and I did a 10,000 word essay on them, on their work and what they did. So that was really nice. So I looked into that. I did a few art pieces relating to that, which again was amazing. Oh, my phone's ringing. Hello? Hold on, I'm filming. Yeah, now I've kind of lost my train of thought, and my last exhibition was a very large piece that I made. I'm not going to go too much into it because you're probably not going to understand what I'm talking about, but it was a very large installation piece where I did a large golden cube, and it had a maze inside it in the dark. And so it was kind of the gift of life. It was a large gold gift, and inside it was a maze, and it had different entrances, and so the viewers had to walk into whichever entrance they wanted to walk into, and kind of find their way inside the place. So it kind of made me think about kind of life and finding the right direction, and you can get someone to help you find the direction that you want in life, or you can kind of go alone. I also gave them the option of using torches inside the maze to see if they wanted to find their direction with the torches. So again, just talking very briefly, I am talking very briefly about this piece. I finished the course with a 2-1. I got 2-1 for my degree, my BA, Bachelor's Honours. It was a course called, I should have mentioned this from the beginning, but the course was called Mixed Media Fine Art. I felt like art was definitely what I wanted to do, but career-wise, I wasn't sure what career I wanted to go into. I knew I wanted to be an artist, but I also wanted to be something maybe else alongside that to kind of fund me as an artist. So I still wasn't sure kind of what direction. So that course gave me so much skills and so much experiences and so much that it now allows me to kind of go into whatever I want to go into, creative wise and art wise. Sorry, I just moved the camera. So yeah, so that's really it. I'm just babbling on. I could babble on for ages, and I know you guys might get bored, so let me just start. If you do want to see part 3, let me know. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to do a part 3 or part 3 would be kind of after university to the present day. That would be my part 3. If you're interested in you know, hearing me babble on about my life and my art life in part 3, please let me know in the comment section, or you know, click the like button so I know you like my videos, and that encourages me to make more videos, of course. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'm gonna say my famous line, thank you very much for watching, take care.